Tyson Fury, arguably the greatest heavyweight ever, just barely beat Francis Ngannou, who was in his first boxing fight as a heavyweight UFC champion. By the end of this video, you'll learn what Tyson did wrong and what Francis did right to make it such a close fight, to the point where people were saying Francis got robbed and boxing is rigged. My name is Bryce and I'm a mental performance coach. After watching every pre- and post-fight interview of both fighters, I found the real reason why Tyson Fury barely beat Francis Ngannou.
Because he's not a boxer and he's coming from a different background, then I have to prepare more. And that's why I'm training hard as I can.
This is good from Tyson Fury. In the lead up to the fight, fans thought this would be an interesting matchup, but every single combat sports expert said Tyson was going to completely outclass Francis. But being a seasoned professional, Tyson knows underestimating his opponent is the quickest way to get humbled.
And if I wouldn't have trained as hard as I did, I probably wouldn't have got through that fight.
He's in the position he's in because he took every opponent seriously and never slacked on his training for anyone. And he's even wiser to understand that for an unconventional fighter, he has to be even way more wary of his opponent because the technique won't be what he's used to.
I really believe that everything is possible. And let me tell you something. From where I came from, everything that I have done, nobody believed in me. They thought I was fool. If I wasn't big and scary, even my family would have put me in a psychiatric hospital. Even my mom told me, hey son, I love you, but I hope that you come to your senses, until I prove them wrong.
This is why you have to do mental training, because having the resiliency to prove people wrong is a skill. For Francis, he first learned that he could use the criticism from his parents about being a combat fighter to fuel him to prove them wrong and make it to the professional level. Then, once he entered the UFC, people doubted he'd become a heavyweight champion. So he used their doubt as fuel to prove them wrong and become champion. Now, when no one believes he can beat Tyson Fury, he's using that criticism as fuel to prove people wrong once again. But understand that he would never have the confidence or belief in himself to prove the world wrong and try to beat a heavyweight boxing champion as a UFC fighter if he hadn't already had the practice of proving people wrong repeatedly throughout his life. This is a skill you have to develop.
You must think I'm gonna...
Possible?
Straight out.
Where,
Me and you in the middle.
I don't know about that. I don't believe anything that you do now. I know you're a big character.
Francis was smart not to listen to any of the trash talk because Tyson told him he'd be on the front foot and stepping forward, but that's actually the opposite of what happened. He was running for most of the fight. Understand your opponent and why he's trash talking. Don't take it personal and definitely don't let it get in your head. Tyson was trash talking to sell the fight, to intimidate Francis, but Francis knows this, which is why he didn't take any of it to heart.
I haven't felt Francis's power, so I don't know what it's going to be like. Is it going to be like so much different to any other heavyweight I've ever fought? Probably not. Will it bounce off me? Probably so, because I'm bulletproof. You can't hit what you can't see. I'm the best at what I do because I'm the most elusive world champion in history, and that's facts. ESPN will back that up. I don't think he can. I don't think anyone can land it on me. That's a fact.
This is where Tyson might have went wrong. He could have respected the power of Francis a little more and been extra careful of getting knocked down. I don't think he disrespected Francis's power and felt that there was no way that he could knock him down. He's aware that this is a heavyweight fight and both fighters have knockout power, but I don't think he had a healthy amount of fear for Francis's power, which is necessary to help you focus and concentrate all the more, so that you don't make a mistake that would lead to your demise. On the other hand, I'm not mad at him saying,
I'm bulletproof. I'm the most elusive world champion in history.
Because he needs to feel that way to be confident in the fight. This is called affirmations, and this is what Muhammad Ali was known for. He'd say, I'm too fast, I'm too pretty, I can't be beat. And whether it was true or not, the statement of these affirmations over and over gave him unshakable confidence when he went into the fight.
It's a good fighter, Francis. He hit me with some good punches, and he was a lot better than we thought he'd be. Good fighter.
During the fight, Francis scored a knockdown, left bruises on Tyson's face, and was pressing the pace for most of the fight. Meanwhile, Francis was largely untouched. As the winner, Fury could say that it wasn't a difficult fight, or that he was just taking it easy, or any other disrespectful remark to continue the trash talk. But the Furies are good sports, and after the fight, he gives credit to his opponent. What this does is allow you to make an accurate assessment of the competition. If Tyson lied to himself and said it was an easy fight and that he was taking it easy, he wouldn't learn any lessons from the fight and wouldn't improve. But since he was honest about the fight and gave credit to his opponent for being a good fighter, now he can accurately assess what happened in the fight, what he did wrong, what Francis did well, and now he's going to be much stronger in his next fight.
I really intended to come here and go home with the victory. I wanted the victory.
This is why great athletes become great athletes, because they have the intention to do so. Every other person in Francis's position going against the heavyweight champion as their first boxing fight would have called it a victory if they just survived all 10 rounds. But with that intention, they wouldn't even give themselves a chance of actually performing well and winning the fight. But Francis had the audacity to go into the fight with the conviction and intention to win. And because of that intention, he performed probably the best he could have performed on the night. And in his eyes and many others, he accomplished his goal. Even if you give yourself a near impossible goal, just by having that intention and direction, you give yourself the chance to accomplish it.
Tonight was about hope. Tonight was about faith in myself in my dream, in my goal.
This is the other side of having a goal and giving yourself the chance to accomplish it. Francis didn't just go in there hoping to win for the sake of winning. He had a reason why he wanted to perform well and win. He was fighting for a bigger purpose, to give hope and inspiration to others. And this strong why and purpose is infinitely more powerful than motivation, because it doesn't come and go like motivation does. It's a constant driver in whatever you do. Even in tough moments of the fight, when your adrenaline and your motivation wear off, your why and purpose will keep you going.
When we started, he said,
Let me take you to school.
This is the next mistake Tyson made. He showed great sportsmanship after the fight, but I think he also could have displayed it during the fight. I would avoid trash talking like this during the fight, especially before the fight even started, because all you're doing is giving your opponent more motivation to beat you. I think he thought he could intimidate Francis, but he's the heavyweight UFC champion. He's not going to be intimidated easily. So that one take you to school comment could have shifted the whole fight and gave Francis the fuel to knock him down.
That's why, like, when I knocked him down, I was dancing in front, like, who is taking who to school?
In my opinion, Francis did his trash talk the right way, because he could have said his rebuttal right then at the start of the fight, but it wouldn't have had the same effect. It could have just upset Tyson and gave him the fuel. He let Tyson think that he was the boss and that he was going to take him to school, and as soon as Francis knocked him down, then he trash talked, and now he was in his head. This is just some advanced game. I wouldn't advise trash talking during the fight, because you never know if your opponent is going to be motivated by it. But if you do, at least do it when you have the momentum, so that it sticks in your opponent's head.
I'm not going to make any excuses. I had a good camp, no excuses.
This is a true champion, much like not giving respect to your opponent after a competition. If you make excuses or complain, then you won't get better. You could say you had an off night because you were sick, or the training camp wasn't good, or the ref was bad, or whatever else you can think of. But if you make an excuse, you just sweep the competition under the rug and don't get a chance to learn and improve from it.
Blame me. There's no blame the trainer, blame the manager, blame the cut man. Blame me if you're going to blame anybody.
This is one of the most important aspects of being a good leader. Although he's not a leader in a team sport, he still represents his coaches and trainers. When you're under heat and massive criticism, it'd be very easy to say that you performed poorly because of your coach, or your trainer, or your training camp. But again, you won't improve, and you won't figure out the true problem and solution of what went wrong and how to fix it.
The fight was so big, and I'm like, oh man, I hope I won't be surprised. I hope I won't embarrass myself here.
I'm glad Francis said this, because a lot of times people think that elite athletes don't have the same fears and worries as everyone else, but they do. The only difference is, most of them have learned to keep moving forward anyway. Your doubts and fears won't go away, but it's a skill to learn how to be confident and take the risk anyway.
But you're a competitor, you have to go out there and perform.
One way to diminish these pregame fears is to do the worst case scenario exercise. In your preparation, ask yourself, what would be the absolute worst case scenario? Francis's worst case scenario might be to get knocked out in the first round, which actually wouldn't be that bad because he's an MMA fighter and Tyson is the best boxer in the world. By accepting the worst case scenario, now he can go into the fight with more confidence and less fear. So before your competition, ask yourself what the worst case scenario might be. If you're still alive and can still play another game after that, then the worst case probably isn't that bad. This will greatly reduce your pregame nerves and allow you to go into the competition with full confidence.
Think about your training. If you've done everything right, yes, you've done everything right, so you should be okay.
This is another thing that gave him confidence. Since he knew he had a full in-depth training camp with Mike Tyson, one of the best boxers ever, he was fairly confident despite who his opponent was. As long as you know in your heart that you've done everything you can in preparation, you'll be confident.
Far from one of my best performances. It wasn't a vintage Tyson Fury.
Another key component of getting better after each fight is giving yourself an honest evaluation. Only if you're brutally honest with yourself will you be able to address your weaknesses and develop them into strengths.
And I think we did a pretty close fight. I could have won the fight, but maybe I should have done more to convince the judge.
This is why Francis is at the elite level that he's at. He's never satisfied. He's always looking for what he could have done better, even if he shocked nearly everyone who watched. He's also focused on what he can control. Everyone after the fight was saying that the fight was rigged, that the judges were biased, and that he was robbed. But here, Francis takes responsibility and says he could have done more to convince the judges and leave no doubt. He knows if he would have knocked Tyson clean out, there would have been no debate. And with that approach, he now has something to improve upon for the next fight, rather than blaming what was out of his control, which would solve nothing.
Are you a boxer or a mixed martial artist?
Combination.
I can do both. Nothing stop me from doing both.
This is inspiring. You can do more than you think. Never let anyone put you in a box. In fact, doing more than one thing can actually help you. Shaun White did skateboarding and snowboarding at the highest level, and he said that doing skateboarding helped his snowboarding and vice versa. If you have the desire to do multiple sports or play multiple roles, even if it's not that common to do so, you never know what you might learn, and you never know what you might accomplish.
It was a bad night.
Listen, I don't know about bad night because that's taking it away from Francis Ngannou's performance. He did very well.
Fury stays very respectful. Saying it's a bad night is an easy cop-out excuse, but he doesn't take it. I will say that Tyson is a great winner or loser or whatever you want to call it after this fight, because he had so many chances to blame, complain, or discredit Francis, but he's maintained excellent sportsmanship after the fight.
Before that, I believed that I can do it, but now I know that I can do it.
This is the value of experience. Affirmations and visualizations are great, but nothing beats experience for true, unshakable confidence. This is why for his next fight, he'll be even more confident than he was in this fight, because now he has experience. Take chances and accept new challenges. Only by taking a risk, whether it works or not, will you gain the confidence that comes with experience. But this is why I think the fight went the way it did. Why do you think the fight went the way it did?